So welcome everyone. Really delighted that you are here. Welcome to this month's Infusions of Light. Infusions of Light is a global broadcast dedicated to the evolution and awakening of humanity, one person at a time, helping to align you with your higher self and the healing light of your higher self. So for those of you who are new to me, my name is Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy. I'm a naturopathic doctor, mind, body, spirit specialist. I'm also a spiritual teacher. And most significantly, I'm a founder of a mind, body, spirit modality called Somatic Awakening. Somatic Awakening was born through my own healing experience, as well as working with the numerous people that I've worked with over the years. And it is in alignment with the Magdalene Way and the deeper essence of Christ consciousness. So welcome to the September 2019 version of Infusions of Light. Today's topic is healing deep fear. And today is a very significant day because we're at the gateway, so to speak, of fall equinox. Fall equinox is tomorrow. And for those of you who don't really track the equinoxes and the solstices very much, I'll just tell you what that is in the terms of what's happening in the world on a level of the sun and the moon. So in essence, what's happening is that we are at an equal distance between the amount of light that is shining during the day and the amount of darkness that is happening at night. So it is a really important time of balance in our world, and it feels really apropos that we're going to be going into this topic of healing deep fear in this time of balance, because definitely bringing awareness and healing to deep fear brings an incredible amount of balance to our world. So also, I just want to say that this is another level of significance today because there are more than 1,000 rallies happening in the world today at this time. A lot of these rallies are led by youth for climate change. So part of what we're going to be doing today in calling in the energy is really helping to bring balance and healing in the world as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and switch gears. We're going to go into a meditative state, and then we're going to go into invocation, and we'll do more meditation just to really make sure that we're very firmly set up for today's broadcast. So as you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes and take some nice deep breaths in and out. We're going to begin with some grounding to really get you nicely grounded in your body. So go ahead and drop your awareness down to the base of your spine. And on the next exhale, just feel and sense that there's a grounding cord that's moving from the base of your spine. It's about the same diameter as your torso, and it's moving down through the building that you're in, through the foundation of this building, and down into the earth. And as it moves into the earth, just really notice that the movement downward is correlated with your breath, especially your exhale. And on every exhale, just feel that you're moving down and through all the layers of the earth, through the soil, rock, any water that's there, through the lava. And just feel that you're moving down deeper and deeper and deeper with every exhale. And on the next exhale, just feel yourself connecting into the core of the earth. Just notice how you perceive that, what that's like for you as you connect in. And then as you connect in, just feel that you're being drawn toward, almost as if you're being magnetized to the very center of the earth, to what I call the heart womb space of Sophia Gaia. So feel yourself moving into this very loving, nurturing, grounding connection with the earth. Just really allowing yourself to receive this nurturing love, this grounding energy from the earth herself. And as you connect in here, just really allow yourself to feel the natural recalibration that happens here as you connect deep into the earth in this heart womb space, allowing this low, slow pulse and loving energy of the earth to recalibrate your energy here in this visualization, but also at the same time, it's on a quantum level recalibrating your physical body. Because the truth of it is that this is much more than a visualization. This is an actual process of grounding both at the core of the earth as well as at the same time, this quantum level, recalibrating your physical body to be really present and to feel safe. So take a few more deep breaths in and out here. Really feeling this deep sense of grounding now permeating your being in this really safe, beautiful way. And as you're ready, go ahead and bring your awareness back up, moving all the way back up now into your feet, into your calves, into your thighs, into the base of your spine. And now go ahead and move your awareness up your spine, up your central channel, all the way up the back of the neck to the top of the head. And from this place, what we're going to do is we're just going to open to your specific, unique connection to your higher self, to your spirit. And inviting down into you your specific original life force, your own unique, vibrant energy from your higher self, from your spirit. I use those words interchangeably. Just allowing that energy to move down into your body, noticing how you perceive it. There might be a specific color or an energetic blueprint. And just allow that energy just to move into your body, helping you to feel even more relaxed and very safe in your body. And any level of divine universal energy that is in alignment for you, we're just going to invite that in and calibrating that very specifically for you so that it helps balance and bring forward even more the sense of being really grounded and relaxed in your body, as well as feeling very safe in your body right now. And as you're ready, go ahead and bring your awareness to your heart space. So that includes your heart chakra and is even more expansive than your heart chakra. No need to understand what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to invite you now to drop in to feel the heart body. And just allow yourself to relax back here in this heart space, this heart womb space inside of you. And feeling both the energy of this grounding energy as well as the energy of your higher self just really mix and mingle in your body, allowing you to be present, letting go of any thoughts of the past, any unfinished conversations. Just bring your awareness now into this breath, into your heart, as well as any thoughts of the future. Just bringing any to-do list or anything that you're thinking of or that you've been thinking of, just bring that all back down into this breath, into the now. And just feeling this earth energy, this grounding pulsation, as well as your higher self life force, just feeling it now moving out into not only all of your physical body, but also into your energy body, just really filling your energy body completely in all directions, front, back, left, right, top, bottom. And just filling you with you, just knowing that you are your own individual, energetic container that is held within your auric field and the protective layer on the outside of your field. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up to connection with the group that is here, both the group that is here in present time, as well as all others who will be listening to this call in the future. So whether that be this weekend or next week or 2 years from now, we are opening up beyond time, beyond space, and also asking us all to be connected in this healing field together. And from here, we call in Divine Mother, Divine Father, all that is, asking you, the Divine One Source, to come and hold this container, to imbue this container with your loving life force, with the deeper understanding of divine safety that's beyond the mind. Consecrating this space as sacred, consecrating this space as holy and protected. We now know this is so. And we are also calling in the archangels to hold this container at the outer edge, to provide even another level of protection and holiness. And we invite in all levels of higher dimensional helpers, including the legions of angels that are here, the ascended masters, and others who are aligned with the law of love and the law of one, in connection with the holy light of the cosmic Christ consciousness. To come and be with us in this container in a healing way that is aligned with every individual and every higher self of everyone here, so that the information that each individual receives is in alignment with their capacity, with what they're ready to receive now. It is not going to push them over what they're ready to receive, but is right in alignment with their capacity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. I'm going to continue to invite you to keep your eyes closed. We're going to go into one other level of setting up this space here, especially for today's class on the topic Healing Deep Fear. So I'm going to invite you to stay in your heart space. And if your awareness has gone out in terms of what we were setting up, just come back to your heart space. And allow yourself to, again, relax back into this space. And what we're going to do now is really invite in your spirit, your higher self, to be present here with you in your heart. And imagine now that there's this huge table, and your spirit is at the head of this table. And see that there are many places at this table that are empty. And what we're going to do now is we're going to invite in any and all aspects of you that are affected by fear. So this could be the actual fear. This could be the past experience where the fear came from. This could be the protective layers that are protecting you from these experiences. And just allow this table to be as big as it needs to be. And it's not that you're actively engaging with each individual aspect, you're just noticing that these parts are here. And so what I'm going to invite in vis-a-vis your higher self is an acknowledgement and an honoring of all of these parts, letting all of these parts know that we are not in any way today going to push them to do anything that they're not ready to do. We really honor their level of capacity, what they're ready for, and honoring their own right and perfect timing. And as much as possible, in alignment with ease and grace. So really giving them the ability to know that they're in charge at whatever level that is true, that they're in charge of when they're ready to be addressed, and that you can stay within your capacity in order to do this. And just notice what happens. Maybe they're taking a deep sigh of relief. Or maybe something else is happening, but just noticing that there's this huge amount of respect and honoring and compassion for these parts of you. Knowing that they won't be pushed beyond their capacity. So go ahead and take another couple of deep breaths in and out, just affirming and confirming this. And as you're ready, I just want to invite you to come back and open your eyes. So welcome again, everyone. Now that I'm actually have my eyes open, I see several people have joined since we started on the invocation and meditation process. So thank you for being here, whether you're here in this live call or that you are here later. Again, you're all welcome here. And if you missed the earlier part, we are all aligned through space and time, beyond time even, because I know some people will be listening to this years from now because this is going to be available free on my website. So with that said, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to take another step of just setting up the space for this call, because healing deep fear, that topic, can be quite activating. And so I really want everyone to feel very much in alignment with what their capacity is during this call. So I want to reflect back, actually, with summer solstice, so just a few months ago, whenever I had the big group call with many different priestesses on there. And there was something that Christelle Arcucci, one of the people that were on the call, shared with us that I want to share for this call. And that was the red, yellow, green system in terms of making sure that you stay within your level of capacity. So I want to define this just for a moment. So green is when we feel really balanced, really present. You're able to hear what I'm saying, take in this information. You might feel a little bit of emotions being stirred, but you're present, your thought process is clear, and you're just really connecting with what is being shared. Yellow is when you start feeling a sense of activation. So maybe I say something that reminds you of a past trauma or something like that. Your heart starts to race just a little bit. You feel like you're still in charge, but you're kind of at the edge of that. And then we have red. And red is when the emotion is taken over and you're feeling really activated and you can't really follow what I'm saying. So if at any time you start feeling the yellow, so you start feeling a little bit of agitation, what I'm going to invite you to do is to actually turn me on mute for a moment, get up, walk around, take a sip of water, do whatever you need to do. Then as you're ready, you can come back, knowing that if you miss anything, this is going to be recorded and that you can come back later to listen to it. But for sure, we do not want you to get into the red zone. And I don't think anything is going to be really hyper activating during this call, but just in case, I just want to make sure that everyone stays safe and within your capacity. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and move into the deeper teachings of today. So the first thing I just want to do is I want to share a little bit about my experience with fear and how I feel like I have navigated enough fear to be able to teach this class. Now, I just want to point out, I didn't say I've navigated all my fear, right? Fear is a path to be navigated, but I have navigated quite a bit of fear in my system to be able to feel stabilized overall in regard to it. And so some of you know the story, some of you don't. Some of you who are brand new to me may not know the story, so I'm going to share just a little bit of my story so that you can get a sense of what I'm talking about here. So I have walked through a lot of trauma in my childhood. I'm not going to go into the detail of that, but let's just suffice it to say there's a lot to heal there. And then about 20 years ago, I had this experience where we normally have a veil that divides us between our present day understanding and our past life experiences, and that veil was ripped. and a lot of information came in all at once. And a lot of the information, I would say most of the information from past lives, was pretty traumatizing. And so I really needed to be with and learn how to be with my fear, especially when it went further into, I had a dark night of the soul experience where it was just really intense a lot of the time. And I had to learn how to really be with my fear in order to find stabilization. And of course, that drastically helped all the many patients that I was working with that also was feeling fear and anxiety or panic disorder. And then what happened is that I was able to really start understanding, not only from my own experience, but from their experience, what was happening. So what I'd like to do is, first of all, talk a little bit about the ego and how the ego works in terms of holding fear. So I'm going to share with you an example, and we're going to use that example throughout the first part of this program, which is the teaching part, and then we're going to go into the transmission, the second half of it. So really briefly, so what happens is that whenever we have some type of trauma experience, and when I say that, what I mean by that is anything that our being perceives as traumatic. And so if we're sensitive, something that we go through, we might really feel as trauma, but someone else might not. That still means it's trauma for us, right? For anyone that's really sensitive. So when we go through a traumatic experience, what happens is that our ego then tries to prevent that experience from happening again. So ultimately, the ego, its job is to make sure that we survive, right? And so it's going to do anything in its power to make sure that we survive, including bringing on lots of negative emotion in order to do that. So let me give you an example. So say, for instance, someone had an experience where they had a burglar come into their home and their life was threatened, but fortunately the police got there in time, all was well. The person worked somewhat with their trauma, but they still had a lot of trauma in their body. So what ended up happening is that the ego then came in and said, it's not safe to be in your home. And the reason why it said that was because at that moment, it wasn't safe to be in her home. We'll just say it's a her. And what ended up happening is that because she still had this fear from the experience and the egoic layer that was on top of it, basically saying, okay, you're not safe in your home, and all the fear that's connected to that, what ended up happening is that then she ended up with an obsessive compulsive disorder of checking her door 1,000,000 times a day, checking all the windows, waking up in the middle of the night at the least sound. She was anxious and had insomnia and was just a mess, right? Until she learned how to have capacity to work with the layers of her ego, the layers especially, we'll say the feeling as if she's not safe in her home, so that that fear is not running her anymore. And so this is the secret that I was talking about when I said, you know, the secret regarding fear that can rule your life until you learn how to be with it. So in essence, the secret, which probably most of you already know, but just in case you don't, it's really, really important. It's this: the fear, whatever levels and layers of fear we have, they're going to run our life until we actually have the capacity to be with it. So that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. How do we have capacity to be with it? But before we go there, I just want to talk a little bit about how the ego and the issues regarding trauma and fear are connected to the lower vibration of third dimensionality and separation. So I use this one example of this woman having this situation of having a burglar come into her home. So imagine that she's had a multitude of traumas. Most of us have had many different traumas, whether that be, you know, little traumas or chronic traumas or very intense traumas. But what happens is that when we are working with this, what occurs is that we have a multitude of stories that our ego tells us. So in other words, it's keeping us in a box. And that box will really keep us separate from everything else. So here we have this belief that, okay, I'm not safe in my home. There might be another belief around something else saying, oh, I'm not good enough. There might be another belief that just keeps on going and going, because we have all of these boxes that our ego tries to contain us in. And in that process, what occurs is that we are separate from other, and we are running this pretty dense level of density of third dimensionality. So these things are a big reason why we really want to shift out of fear, so that not only we can heal, so that we can evolve and awaken. So let's talk about some of the ways that we can gain capacity. And again, I'm just going to talk just a few more minutes, and then we're going to go into transmission. So the first thing that we can do is work with a mentor, someone who has walked through their own levels of fear. And it's really important to do that, because a mentor, whether that be a therapist or someone like me as a mind, body, spirit specialist, or whoever, someone that you resonate with, a mentor who's gone through their many levels of their own fear, they will be able to help navigate you through the labyrinth of fear, pointing out different landmarks along the way, as well as helping you specifically with what you're specifically walking through. The second thing to keep in mind is that we really want to have a spiritual practice, something that actually helps us get out of the lower vibration of our ego and lower mind, and actually connects us to our higher self, aspects of our higher self. The third thing, which is really very, very significant and very much connected to somatic awakening, is that we want to connect to these parts of us that we can feel and have a sense of in meditation, and actually bring them more on board, so that these parts of us can then be in relationship to the fear. So specifically, the two aspects, I should say two, not four, but two aspects that we use in somatic awakening are the adult consciousness, as well as the higher self witness consciousness. So let me define these really quickly, if you've never heard of these before. So the adult consciousness is part of our higher self, part of our higher ego, that basically has the ability to be with whatever is going on. So that could be being with, again, using this metaphor, being with a fear that says that you're not safe in your own home. So the adult consciousness has the ability to be in relationship with it, so that it's not running the show. So you're not lost or drowning in this belief that's holding you down, that's very fearful. So from the level of just merely having the ability to witness it, to be present with it, it brings a level of stability and sustainability to this process, so that, again, you're not losing yourself in it, but it doesn't necessarily have the highest level of healing vibration to it. So that's whenever we come in and bring in the higher self-witness consciousness. And in that place, what we're doing is that we are connecting directly into our higher self and our ability to connect into the strength, the courage, the capacity, the love, the compassion, whatever is needed to bring that into direct relationship to the fear. And whenever that happens, then the fear will start to shift dramatically. It'll start to not be so intense. Then it'll start to let go of some of its grips that it has on you. And eventually it'll feel like it's either dissolving or that it's going to sleep. It's no longer in charge the way that it was, right? So before we go into the process of transmission, I just want to say one more time that the most important thing for you to remember here is that as you actually have the capacity and the ability to be with your fear and stand with your fear and hold a sense of courage and strength. And when I say courage, I don't mean a lack of fear. I mean, actually, you have the ability to stand with the fear, even if your knees are knocking and you're shaking and you might be sweating a little bit. Even with that, when you have the ability to just stand with it and say, I'm here and I am going to stand with you until you shift. Because whenever you do that, no matter how long it takes, maybe it takes 5 minutes or 30 minutes, or maybe you have to come back a few times, but it will shift. That is a promise that I can make to you, because I've lived that myself, and I've seen many, 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 many people at this point walk through that as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and shift into transmission. Today, we have a huge treat. I was in meditation this morning, connecting with the higher dimensional helpers, asking, okay, who wants to be here? And I was, had an idea of who wanted to be here. And actually what happened is that Jesus came in, and he is going to be leading today. And I'll just say this, I typically don't transmit Jesus very much because his energy is so powerful. It's so powerful that often I will cry. So if I do, that's normal. Just know I'm a feeler, and I take, I'll just say this, I feel really good about that. It feels like it's part of the gift that I have to bring to the world. And so if I cry, just know that's normal. There's no big deal. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and close your eyes. And actually, before you do that, let me just say this. If you've never joined us today, let me just give you a sense of how this works. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to be quiet for a moment, and I'm going to tune in. In essence, what I'm doing is I'm connecting my higher self with the higher self of Jesus and all the other higher dimensional helpers that are holding this space. And then I'm going to be transmitting both the words as well as the energy through. So your job is just to stay centered and present. I invite you to close your eyes if that works for you. You can either sit up or lay down, depending on if you want to stay aware and present, or if you want a more deeper, restful, healing transmission, whatever works for you. And again, in a moment, I'm going to come right back. I'm going to take a sip of water first. Okay. So again, just go ahead and close your eyes if that works for you, and then I'll come right back. Welcome. I am delighted to be with you today. I am the one called by many names, Jesus the Christ. And in my own language, when I lived, Yeshua ben Joseph. I am one and I am many. I am beyond time and space, so I can be with many at the same time. Just like I am with all of you during this transmission. For some of you, I am something that is a construct or story in your mind from your past experience, from the Christian religion, I assure you I am much more than that. I am indeed the love. I am also the light. However, I am not that which was constricted by the Romans and others after my death. So I invite you to keep an open mind and an open heart through this transmission to who I truly am from your personal experience. One of the reasons why I wanted to share in regard to fear is because in my name, in the Christian religion, that many have been controlled by fear. This was never my intention. This was not my doing. My words have been construed, and many things did unfold after I left this plane that were not in alignment with my true teachings. So the first wave of healing that I want to share is for any of you who have had experience from the Christian religion of fear. I invite in the love that is the truth to be with these fears, because the truth is love. It is not fear. And the truth is that as more and more people understand and live from this unconditional loving and unconditional accepting place, and bring this love to the fears that have been gatekeepers, keeping you trapped in lower dimensionality, the truth is that Christ consciousness will be reborn again here on this planet. So I come today with a message that love conquers fear. When you first encounter fear or the more intense vibration of terror, it is almost impossible to meet it with love. So you meet it with the level of strength and courage and capacity that you have in your current evolutionary state. And then, as you evolve more and more, you learn that underneath the fears are hurt parts of you, parts that have been violated, parts that have experienced being victimized, parts that have been dishonored. And as this love grows in your life, you have the ability to meet both the fear and what's underneath the fear with this love. And that's when the fear deeply changes. Of course, it changes as soon as you have the ability to turn toward it. And when you have the ability to bring love into the healing realm, that's when these parts, the fear and what's underneath it, begins to relax, begins to know that they're safe, begins to be able to move into a place of rest. And no longer be running your life. So with that said, what I and the many gathered here with me, the Council of One, the many ascended masters that are here, and archangels, with your permission, we would like to now offer the stabilizing energy of courage, strength, and especially love to you in alignment with what is in the capacity of your being. So we invite your higher self to be here to navigate the aperture that is in alignment for you, knowing that you are receiving what you're ready to receive now, and then also any overflow is moving out into your timeline. We're asking your higher self to navigate that and write a perfect timing with your future. And because this energy has a high vibration, we are going to be transmitting it to you through multiple levels, both through the words that have already been spoken, through the energetic waves, and specifically through sound. We are going to be making multiple levels of sound so that you can actually tangibly feel this transmission. So we now ask you to open all parts of your being that are ready to open to receive, especially your heart, knowing that the heart is the middle area of your body, between the lower parts of your body and the higher parts of your body, in reference to the physical placement, not judgment of lower parts and higher parts. But we are asking the higher part of your heart to receive this, and then to be the transductor to allow this energy to move into any and all parts that are ready to receive this now and in the future. So, with that said, we will now move into the toning part of this transmission. Ooh, ooh. We offer you love. We offer you a deep knowing of the power of your being. The power that has the ability to stand. The power that is rooted in the earth. The power that extends above all the way into your oversoul and in direct connection and union with the divine. The power that blossoms from your heart. That says, no, I will not be ruled by this fear anymore. And it stands. It stands with, not in negation of the fear, but as a powerful affirmation that the fear is no longer in charge. And the power that knows that it has everything that is needed in order to stand. It is like standing with a child who is really hurt and having a temper tantrum. When you stand with the child and you say, I am here with you. I am here with you. You can have your feelings, but you are not in charge of what's happening. I stand with you, not against you. I stand with you in strength. I stand with you in compassion. I stand with you in love. And as you learn how to stand more and more in your life, in charge, not from a place of power over, but from a place of power with and compassion. And these parts of you actually give gratitude because it knows that your true power has arrived. And they no longer need to excessively spend their energy trying desperately to keep you safe through whatever means or measures that it takes. The fear begins to dissolve. Because you know and are connected to the divine current that's now running inside of you of divine safety. And this becomes like a mother's milk to the fear. And just like the child having a temper tantrum, on the other side of that temper tantrum, if the child is listened to and heard and offered compassion, the child usually will end up eventually in your lap crying, knowing that it's safe enough to share its deeper feelings. This is the same when you connect to the power and bring in the power of your higher self and show these parts, especially the parts of fear, your power, your strength, your capacity, your compassion, your love. It's as if finally they realize the true adult is present. And the 2-year-old and the 5-year-old and the 10-year-old who have been trying to act like parents, or the past life parts that are still struggling to survive, finally realize that someone they can trust is finally in charge. This is a very important and significant step in the evolutionary juncture of humanity stepping into its truth and what Christ consciousness actually truly means. I lived as an example, not to be worshipped, but to show what's possible. And I and all of the ascended masters and archangels and higher dimensional helpers that are aligned to this light, to humanity's free will, to humanity's evolution, are here in droves to help humanity evolve in this significant portal that you are in. So, as we have said before, and we will continue to say again, all you need to do is ask for our support, and we will support you. An alignment with your free will, an alignment with your highest timeline, an alignment with your capacity, if that is what you request. For we know and see you as divine beings. And our primary role is to help you evolve. So, beloveds, we invite you to take a few more deep breaths in and out to really feel and sense and know this. And again, also know that this energy will be transmitted out on your timeline, if that is what you choose. So know that there's no need to perceive a limit here. So we end now this transmission in time and space. Sending you all the incredible stabilizing energy of your higher self, aligning you to it even more, as well as the love that you are held within on all levels. Through all timelines, through all aspects of your being. And we now know and claim that it is so. Amen. So as you're ready, coming back. So thank you again for joining this broadcast today. We will be back again. It's interesting, I said we, so myself and the Ascended Masters of the Council of One, Higher Dimensional Helpers will be back again next month in October, the third Friday. And if you have any questions or any comments, we'd love to hear from you. My email address is dr, abbreviation of Dr. Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy. So it's Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy @gmail.com. All right. Much love and many blessings to you. Until next time, be well. Namaste.